Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Kent's Counterpoint. I'm the author, Kent Anderson, and this is my blog, and I'm trying to make a counterpoint to popular beliefs and the beliefs people want you to believe, and make a counterpoint just to try to see things from another point of view, which can be healthy. And today it's going to be very healthy because alarm, we are going to conspiracy theorists. Conspiracy theories, yes, they're everywhere. And there's a lot of them. And we actually lost, as the government here in Norway said, as the Prime Minister said, we lost control of what people are being told. Yeah, the internet does that, and everyone can say their opinion. And you know what? People say, oh, there's censorship and such everything, but it's not. In the 90s, there was censorship in the form that you couldn't actually say your opinion or your point of view publicly unless you were standing in Hyde Park and on Speaker's Corner, or if you shouted out. You had no social media, but in social media, you can actually reach millions of people with your point of view. And this is a good thing. But the problem is, of course, that some people have a point of view that is absolutely ludicrous, dangerous, or simply just, way out there. And that's why we have to talk about conspiracy theories, because these are strong, and there are many of them. And just to mention some of them and what's wrong with them, I'll start with that. Just the most popular conspiracy theories are touring the internet. One of those is chemtrails. All right, that's my favorite. You see, I'm actually an educated pilot, so with PPLA 1. So I actually can fly a plane, and I landed many times, and I know a lot about planes. And chemtrails is the most stupid thing I ever heard. Right. The point is that they say that, the government or someone, the elite, those who rule, the Zionists or whatever they are controlling people with chemicals that are spread from planes. Nope, they're not. Because it's not necessary, stupid, okay? You don't need chemicals to manipulate people. You can just use propaganda. It's cheaper, easier, and faster, right? Okay? There are no chemtrails, you see. That's just, that's a drop of pressure when the plane passes through, and then it gets colder and it sort of condenses that, yeah. And also the engines spews out. It's the weather conditions, and so it's just stupid. And we're going to talk more about that later. HAARP, weather manipulation, and control of populations. Yeah, you can make it rain, maybe, if you've got a cloud with, silver iodine or whatever you spread on the clouds to make it rain. But you can't make a cloud. You can't make a hurricane. It's just stupid, okay? It's physically impossible and would demand so much energy that the whole country will go black, right? So just, earthquake machines, no. You don't need it. There are earthquakes on the earth every minute almost. Just, you can check out the app, Quake Watch. New World Order. The world is ruled by a secret elite consisting of, it's Illuminati, it's Jesuits, or both. There's a Catholic Church, there's the Bilderbergers, of course, there's Rothschild, there's Soros, there's BlackRock, there's, of course, Bill Gates, there's Freemasons, and there's, of course, Zionists and the globalists, and some of them are actually reptiles. And they are all together, and he's controlling the world, or everyone by itself. No, they're not, okay? Because here's a very important thing to say, right? The fact that many people do stupid things and are greedy and want more power and money doesn't mean they have to actually, work together about this. They can just do it for themselves. And if many people do it, it looks like a big conspiracy, but it isn't. They don't need to cooperate. Greedy people don't need to cooperate to make a greedy conspiracy. There's no conspiracy in it. Okay? It's just greed. And many people do it. And then you get the result like it was planned, but it isn't. It's just human nature, okay? And I know a lot about human nature. Okay, the 5G network is deadly. Well, so they said about the 4G and the 3G network, and nothing has happened yet. COVID was not real. It was a conspiracy. Yes, it was real. I got it, and I got bloody sick, and it almost killed me. So yes, it's real. The vaccines doesn't work. Well, vaccines do work. I mean, just look at a picture. Just take a look at a picture from a polio ward from the 50s, and you will see that they're no more. And thank God for vaccines. Fast developed vaccines, I don't know, not very fond of that. That's hazardous, and when you have to take a vaccine shot 6 times and you still get the disease, I must say I'm skeptical. And it's okay to be skeptical. Zionists rule the USA and the world. Well, we talked about that. The Holocaust did not happen. If you hear this, you have to ask, why do you say that? And what is your agenda? Okay? Say after me, why do you say that? And what is your agenda? Because people who say that, they lie. Holocaust did happen. It's so well documented that it is actually ludicrous to say anything else. If you say anything else, you try to spread a conspiracy. That is made for sure. What more? Flat Earth crazies? Well, that's a new thing, actually. It's showing up all the time here in Norway, where people, the Earth is flat. But you know, these people don't actually believe the Earth is flat. Do you know that? They just want to argue with you and make themselves very interesting. They don't believe it themselves. People can't possibly be that stupid. You know, there's so many pictures of the Earth from satellites going around the world. I mean, no one believes the Earth is flat. But I believe that many people try to make themselves very interesting. That maybe, that's more likely. The oil industry killed a car that ran on water. That's an old one. No, that did not happen because it's not possible. There is no physics and no known chemical reactions or anything that can actually make such a thing happen. Okay, so it never happened. Because you have to look at the facts. You have to look at science, math, physics, chemistry. You can't break that. Those are rules, and you can't sort of just say, oh, let's abolish them and just use magic. Da-da-da. Doesn't work like that. Okay. The reality does not work like that. So no. So it's USA is in a proxy war with Ukraine. No. Russia is in war with Ukraine, and Ukraine does not have any choice. If they stop, they get invaded more. Russia has a choice, and that's the difference. If Russia stops the war tomorrow, well, the war stops. And no one's going to invade Russia. No one. So, get a bit tired of that. Tesla Energy. Now, Tesla Energy and endless batteries, that's an old one. Tesla Energy doesn't exist, okay? And Tesla proved it, okay? Because he was searching for Tesla Energy the rest of his life. And he never found it. And the reason for that, stupid, is because it doesn't exist, right? And many have tried actually to find this Tesla Energy, and it's big, and no one can do it because it doesn't exist. You know, the search for magical energy has been going on, and it's intensified because of the green shift. They're searching for magic energy that has no problems, and is free, and is green, and it doesn't exist. Everything we do has consequences. Okay, stop looking for magic. Okay, let's keep ourselves in the real world. Diana was killed by British intelligence. Princess Diana? No, she wasn't. She was killed by a drunk driver that drove too fast and lost control of the car. That's an easy explanation. And the easy explanation is very often the right one. Occam's razor. The oil industry choked off free energy. No, they didn't. They give us energy, and that's a good thing. Climate crisis. Let's see. Islamophobia is driven by racists. Islamophobia is driven by racists. That's a conspiracy theory. No, it's not. It doesn't work like that because it's not true. The critics of that people don't like Islam is because people get to know Islam. It's not driven by racists, it's driven by Muslims. The more people learn about Islam, the less they like it, okay? The more horrified they get. That's what's driving the Islamophobia. It's a pretty sane fear, I would say, because it's a superstition from year 600. I mean, a superstition. What's wrong about criticizing that? Tell me. Let's see, what's more? CIA killed Kennedy and they almost took out Trump. No, it was a guy with a gun. Why do you have to make it so complicated? Why do we always have to make very simple facts, very simple and obvious things super duper complicated, and which implies hundreds of people and mysterious conspiracies, you know? It's weird. It's weird. Because crackpots with guns, there's enough of crackpots with guns. Let's agree to that, okay? It's not hard to find crackpot with guns that actually wants to kill the American president, okay? They don't have to have a conspiracy behind it, right? Get real. Ultra-processed food. What is that? When is an egg ultra-processed? Is this when you crack it? When you fry it or you boil it? When you whip it to, I don't know. Where's the border? What happens? And what is it with, if you take pork and you grind it up to a sausage? Why does it all of a sudden get poisonous? I don't understand that. And neither do the people who are very, very busy with it, because they can't actually explain when something gets ultra processed and why it's so dangerous. And it's a good thing, because some of these processes are done just to, to conserve the food, so you can actually get it to the shop before it rots. And if we didn't do that, food would be scarce and it would cost tenfold more. So yeah, let's continue with that, okay? And you don't die of it, because if that was dangerous, we've eaten ultra-processed food for 200,000 years, and we're still here. So it's probably not that bad. Yeah. Right-wing extremists are everywhere. That's a very funny conspiracy. They actually say that right-wing extremists are everywhere, but I've actually never met one. I haven't. I met a lot of left-wing extremists, environmental extremists. I met a lot of them. I mean, they're everywhere, truly, and they're proud of it. But right-wing extremists, people who love Hitler and are true racists, I don't think I ever met one. Have you? No, you haven't. I mean, have you met a left-wing extremist or a religious extremist? Yes, you have. A lot of them. So go figure that. Sugar is dangerous. No, it is not dangerous. Sugar is a natural product, okay? It's not dangerous. And if it was dangerous, we will all be dead. All right, CIA was behind 9/11. I always wanted to ask the people that believe that CIA took down the World Trade Center. Stupid thing to say, and very bad for the victims of this. But if they did that, how did they get the CIA pilots to sit in the seat and sacrifice their own lives for this conspiracy? How did they do that? And who were these pilots? And where did the planes go? I mean, we saw the pictures of the planes. Surely you don't say that there were no planes, because we actually have pictures and film of it from many angles, and we got a plane-sized hole. And, and if this was a conspiracy and the towers were blown up, Now, making the explosives to make a building go down is very hard. And, you know, there's a lot of circuits and wires and everything. And how did they maintain those circuits and be sure that it wasn't broken when the planes hit and the fire was raging for like an hour or two? How did that happen? We're going to talk more about that. The moon landing was a fake. No, it was not a fake. I mean, there are pictures of the things, of the instruments sitting on the moon that was placed there by astronauts, and they are still in use daily by NASA and scientists, okay? Israel was behind the 7/11 terror. How can you say such a thing? How can anyone claim such a thing? Especially because the Hamas, they took the credit for it and they were super proud of it. And now it's a conspiracy? The Jews was behind it? How can you say that? Hamas was super proud of it. They planned it and they admitted it. Was that a conspiracy? Yeah, it was. And it took the life of 1,200 people, innocent people, in the worst imaginable way. So, no. These are very. I listed up all these conspiracy theories because I say these are many of them are ludicrous. They're just stupid, and why is that so? Why is that so bad? Because there are real conspiracies out there. They are rare. There are not many, but they are dangerous, and we have to address them, and we have to expose them, and these silly people who spread silly conspiracy theories, they are muddling the water. They are making fog that is very, very useful for the governments. Because when you use all the time and all the to make people believe in chemtrails or HAARP or that, you know, all these silly things, people in government or people with power, whenever they make critic, they can just, it's conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy theory. And just throw it into the bin with all the other things. Even though the claims are right. And they actually are behind a conspiracy because there are conspiracies. So we're going to talk about that. The EU. Let's take some real conspiracies. The EU is an empire in Spain. An empire to be. That is a conspiracy, because more and more power is gathered in EU, in Brussels, and abolishing borders and let the European states decide for themselves what's best for themselves with their own laws is actually are hollowed out, and that is a conspiracy, and it's not good. Okay, and we have to address that. And all this other fluff that is flying around is destroying a good and important discussion. Okay, that is the problem with conspiracy theorists. Let's another thing. The UN sustainability goals are actually dangerous and destructive. This is not a theory. This is a fact. The sustainability goals is going to be a disaster because they are actually chasing the rainbow. And not only that, they're willing to use all your money and all their power and all your future to achieve that goal. And they will never, ever stop. Whatever they achieve, and they won't achieve anything. Everything is poured into this black hole of money, okay? And they won't achieve anything because the sustainability goals are impossible. They are impossible in so many ways. So this is a conspiracy actually to destroy stable countries and use all their money to achieve something that is unachievable. World Economic Forum Great Reset is anti-democratic and totalitarian. Well, this is not a conspiracy theory. This is a conspiracy fact. And don't take my word for it. Just go into World Economic Forum's own pages, okay, and see what they write. They want to abolish nations. They want an elite to control the world and rule the world. And it's one man actually behind World Economic Forum. That's Klaus Schwab, and he's a big head, you know. He's got a big head. He's a professor and everything, and writing a lot of books. But he's wrong. He's just wrong. Okay, he's totally out of the field. He's totally ditched. Right? He's over the moon. He's wrong. And he actually acts like a James Bond crook, because he got 2,000 or 3,000 minions behind him. He's like Gru. I'm like Gru. I'm going to take over the world. Yeah, despicable me. And he got 2,000 or 3,000 of this state leader that is flocking around him. Oh, Klaus Schwab, you are so right. Let's try to do this. What? You've got no right to do that. Klaus Schwab isn't elected by anyone. And his theories are never tested anywhere. It's an experiment. Fact checkers are telling you the truth. No, they're not. The climate goals cannot be achieved. That's not a theory, that's a fact. You can never achieve them. Because if they could be achieved by the green shift, well, then we would be on our way, but we're not. The CO2 levels are going up, and the green industry is going down, at least here in Europe. China is a dictatorship which infiltrates the West. This is not a theory. This is a fact. Okay? It should be addressed. And it shouldn't be necessary to discuss people with chemtrails and that stuff when we got important conspiracies. Because China, the mafia that is ruling China, like Chicago in 1930, like everything is going great, business is great, and if you oppose, you disappear. China, the Chinese government or the Chinese rulers, they really, really want to take over. They want to spread more China to everywhere. It's not a theory, it's a fact. That's what they do. Putin is actually trying to make, he's making a dictatorship out of Russia. Yes, he is. Just look at what's going on there. And if you are teaming up with North Korea, you probably don't have democracy in your mind or a good future for everyone. Could we agree on that? This is a fact, not a theory, and we should address it. So this is like Democrats. They were importing migrants to win the election. This is not a theory. This is election manipulation. It is. Of course they did. They gave them the right to vote. Didn't win, didn't work, but that was the plan. I had no ID. It's still, yeah, you can vote. That's okay, because they're gonna vote for us. That's why it was. It's not a theory. It's a fact. Look at the results. Okay. So there's a lot of real conspiracies going on that we, the people, actually have to address and have to have focus on. So how do you reveal a conspiracy theorists? How do the conspiracy fools operate? Okay, how do you know you met a person with just a conspi theory that wants you to believe him? Well, for the first, they sow doubts. All right, they never have facts. They just want you to doubt. Isn't it weird? They say, isn't it weird? They nibble at the truth. They take small pieces of truth and they put them together as it suits them, and they say, then present them to you and say, this, this and this and this happened. Isn't it weird? What do you think happened? There must be a conspiracy. No, it wasn't. Like they say with Pentagon in 9/11. Where's the plane? It's inside the Pentagon, you moron. It disappeared from radar, heading for Pentagon, went down under the radar and hit Pentagon. And they drew out a lot of airplane parts. Yeah, they did. There's a picture of it. And, you know, this, so they nibble at the truth and want you to doubt. That is what they do. But they can never ever prove, they can never put out a coherent and total theory that actually shows who's in on it, why they do it, how they keep it secret, and so you can get the whole picture. They lack documentation. They're subjective. They're always black and white. And their theory always lacks math, physics, and logic. They don't have anything, a total theory that is whole and fulfilled that they can put in front of you for others to disprove, okay, and research. And they always, and conspiracy theorists, they always ask for documentation. Have you noticed that? They always ask for documentation. Well, when you give it to them, they never accept it. Here's a picture of plane parts inside the Pentagon. No, it's fake. Whatever you do, here's a picture of the round Earth. No, it's fake. I don't believe in it. Whatever you do, if you put out a scientist, a climate scientist, that says, well, the climate crisis is bullshit. He's not a real climate scientist. Or he's a bad person. He actually got a parking ticket 20 years ago. You can't listen to him. That's what they do. That's what they always do. So they don't accept proof or documentation, and they lack math, physics, and logic. So, and they reject everything that disproves, well, here's the proof that your theory is actually just bonkers. Well, no, then you're in on it. There was a joke, a conspiracy theorist who dies and goes to heaven and says, welcome, says God, welcome. Now you can ask me one question and I'll answer you. Truly, right? This is a joke from me, okay? A joke. God says, now ask me one question and I will answer completely honestly. And without blinking, the conspiracy theorist, he asked, who shot John F. Kennedy? And God says, well, Lee Harvey Oswald shot Kennedy from a bookstore in Dallas. He acted alone, God replies. Oh, says the conspiracy theorist, it goes that high. That's what they do. They do. Yeah. So how do you, what do you do to find the real truth and find what is true and false in this endless amount of information that comes from broadcasters, free media, the internet, groups, and everything? How can you as a person find what is true, what is right? Okay, it seems impossible. And the scientists and experts, they say, well, you have to find real sources. You have to be critical sources, and that is not good enough. Well, you have to listen to the fact checkers. No, you don't, because the fact checkers are often owned by media, right? And they are not objective. That doesn't work. What you have to do is develop skepticism, like adults, when someone comes up to you and say, this and this happens and it's fantastic and it's unbelievable and nothing is done about it. You actually should be an adult and say, oh yeah, that's weird, because, this has been talked about for 30 years and still no one has revealed it. Why? There's a lot of journalists around, could make a big profit on this, and still it hasn't been exposed. Why not? Well, that's because they're in on it. Yeah, it just goes higher and higher. So when people come and claim big and fantastic things, be skeptical. So don't listen to me. I mean, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying, look at the facts. Use reason. How likely does actually a thing seem? And a rule is, if many are involved in a conspiracy, if many are involved, the probability goes down. A conspiracy with more than 20 people would be revealed because someone will earn money on it. Okay. But if money is involved, the probability goes up, right? Yeah. Many people involved goes down. A lot of money involved, you can earn money on it. Well, that's more likely a true conspiracy. You have to read history so you understand the background and the danger of repetition, of repeating history. You have to look at what people do and not what they say. It's not interesting what people say. What people do is important. And you have to look at results instead of promises, because the politicians are promising you that the climate measures will save us all from climate crisis in the future. Oh yeah, but it doesn't. They don't now. They're going to work in the future, right? That's a big claim. Are you earning money on it? Yeah, you do. So what's the possibility? That doesn't sound very likely, does it? Omnipotent forces does not exist, right? Look at the government, look at politicians, whether they govern according to reality, or if they govern of desired reality. They want, like, the Democrats, they desire that a multicultural society should work, immigrants welcome and everything. But that isn't very interesting. You have to look at what actually works and what actually happens. If someone rules a country from a desired reality, okay, that's a danger. Because the world is what it is. Reality is reality. You can't rule it from what reality you want to be real. That's self-deception, and it's dangerous. You can look at how long a conspiracy theory has existed without impact, right? Like Watergate. I mean, that existed like 10 hours and it was everywhere because that was a real conspiracy. Watergate was a real conspiracy. And when it cracked, it was everywhere. It was exposed. And that is how conspiracies usually are. And of course, you have to ask, is this a conspiracy with bad intent, with evil intent? Or is it just stupid people doing the same stupid things? So it looks like they are cooperating without actually doing it. Very interesting question that is absolutely should be discussed more. Maybe the most important, follow many sources, right? In the war in Ukraine, I followed, I think, around 20 bloggers from Russia, from United States, from Ukraine, from the countries around, 20 bloggers, which I sort of tour around and listen to. If you do this, if you listen to many sources, if you listen to many sources, you actually you get wiser, because they will make a pattern. They will make the reality stand out. They may all be biased and subjective, but together, if you listen to them all, you can see a more objective picture. So that's what I do, and that's what I did for making this podcast. I always say to people that believe in climate crisis, I say, oh, I believe in climate crisis because I look at the scientists and I read the papers, right? Well, so do I. Okay? But I also read everything that speaks against it, and you don't. And that's why I'm twice as wise as you, right? I'm wiser than you because I read everything you read, but I also read the things you don't read because you don't want to, because you want this to be true, right? And that's why I'm wiser. That's why I'm smarter than you. I read twice as much. And then you're probably more enlightened than someone who doesn't. So do that. Buy critical papers, buy papers you don't like, read things you don't like, and at least you learn what other people's believe in and their reality, because there's not always things are true or untrue like the fact checker says. It actually happens that things are not true or untrue, as they say in Jesus Christ Superstar. I look for truth and find that I get damned, Jesus says. And Pilate says, what is truth? Is truth an unchanging law? We both have truths. Are mine the same as yours? Jesus Christ Superstar. So yeah, so that's enough for today. This is how you should actually tackle this enormous avalanche of information that is pouring over you every day. Be critical. Look at many sources, use common sense, and of course, try to follow the money. Always follow the money. If someone gets rich, well, they probably want to get rich, and they probably don't tell you the truth, like the financial crisis in 2008. Learn from our mistakes. That could be a good idea. So that was enough for today. I hope you will share this podcast with as many as possible. I hope you will. I've been doing this podcast, Kent's Counterpoint, in Norwegian for 3 years. But I found out, well, we better do this for the English-speaking audience too. So I started just on YouTube now. So if you subscribe, you will get more videos from me. And this Counterpoint, and sooner or later I'm coming up with a book also, because I am actually a Norwegian author with 6 books. I've written 6 books. So that's enough for today. Please follow, please subscribe, and please share with everyone, and have a nice day, and we'll be back soon.